Well, hello, Troy Junior High School artists. Today we are going to make your journals. We'll probably keep calling them your journals, but they're going to be sort of like what you do all of your art assignments in, not just your journal assignments. They will have white papers in there for you to do drawing assignments, and watercolor papers for painting assignments, and then we'll talk about the journaling part later. So you'll notice in your kit that you got, you have two papers that are bigger than all the others, and they have a little crease in them. The first thing you're going to want to do is take those and then actually press the crease all the way down. And make sure you get a nice good crease in there. You can use like the back of a closed pen to help smush that down, or closed scissors also work. But they're already bent in the direction that they need to be folded. You just need to crease it all the way. You want to make sure that you have we're going to call these the covers, your covers oriented in the same direction. In all of the papers we're using, you'll notice that there is, on either side of the two hole punches, there's a short side and a long side to get to the edge. So I'll always refer to them as the short side and the long side. I'm going to go ahead and create my book with the short side on top, long side on the bottom. You can do it the other way around and you'll still end up with a book that looks the same. But just pick a direction and go with it. So I have short side on top, long side on bottom. Then you're going to go through all your stacks of papers. You have several different types of papers. The heaviest one is the watercolor paper. It's really, really thick and rigid. You're going to want to stack those up and also kind of make sure the same thing, that you have them ready to go with the short side on top and then the long side on bottom. I'm going to do that also with my drawing paper. I have two different stacks of drawing paper. When you hold them, you can kind of feel that one is a little bit thicker than the other. So again, make sure you have them going the same direction as all your other papers. Then I also have a stack of copy paper. The copy paper is sort of like the brightest white paper, and it's extra flimsy. You know, it feels just like what you get worksheets printed out on. And then you have three other random pieces of paper: a black sheet of paper, a sheet of scrap music, and a graphing paper. These are extras we're going to keep in your journal, so that way when we get to the actual journaling part, you have some unique papers to work with and not just white paper. You'll also have book pages, but we're going to get to that in the next section. Okay, so now we're going to put all of our papers together in our sketchbook journal thing. So the first thing you're going to do is take the two brad fasteners that you got in your kit, and with your papers laid out like so, you're going to start on the left side and thread the brad through like this, and then you're going to take the other one and thread it through the bottom. We don't need to do anything with the other cover just yet. Then we're going to go ahead and start putting your papers in. The order of the paper doesn't matter a whole lot, because you can always unfasten these brads and take out whatever you need and move it to a different location. Some of you might decide that when you do an assignment that it's going to come out of your journal forever. Some of you might want to keep it in chronological order. So these papers can and probably will move around. So I'm going to start with the copy paper. Again, I'm going to make sure that I have this one's a little bit harder to tell, so it doesn't really matter. But the short side on top and the short side on the bottom, or sorry, the long side on the bottom. Ugh. And I'm going to lay it down, so that way I thread these brads right through the holes. Some of you might realize that you got a stack of paper that maybe wasn't hole punched totally accurately. As long as you have one of the two holes punched all the way through, it doesn't really matter if the other one's too loose or not. So just make sure at least one of them's good. It should do its job for you. All right, so I got my copy paper in. Now I'm going to put my lightweight drawing paper in, short, long. And I'm going to keep doing that with all my other stacks of paper, moving on to the heavy drawing paper and then the watercolor paper. last one. It's a little wonky, so I'm going to put in a couple at a time. Okay, and then before we close it, I'm going to go ahead and stash my extra journaling papers in here too. Doesn't matter what order. Okay, now I'm ready to finish it up. So I'm going to take my back cover, and I'm just going to open up this flap, lay the holes right on top of where the brad fasteners are. I'm going to open those brad fasteners so they go right along the spine, sort of like a folder. Open those up, and then we can close this. And now your art assignment papers and journal are ready to go. The last thing we're going to do to sort of reinforce this and make sure that it stays nice in your book bag is we're going to reinforce the spine with some duct tape. So you do have a choice of color. Miss Braun and I will tell you when you can come up and pick out what color you want. But you're going to put, you cannot eyeball it, about half of the width of duct tape on your front cover. And then flip it over. And I try to make sure I give it a nice little tug as I'm wrapping it around to the back side. Like so. So hopefully that should help to make sure that that side of your paper doesn't get all gummed up. All right, and so now you have a lovely art journal book made of a variety of papers, ready to make stuff for the rest of the semester.